Let's try this one more time, everybody. Dave Puts here from JKP Holdings. Looks like we're back and ready to rock and roll. I think right now we are dealing with COVID craziness in the computer world, technology world. So, as always, Mr. Nathan Turner alongside of me. Hopefully everyone can see, hear, and interact with us a little bit better than we were a second ago. I wanted to make sure that everyone knew that, as I said before, COVID is over, but still beginning or something like that. Nathan, what's going on there in Canada?
By and large, more people are being vaccinated. And the result is that actually today we're at a friend's house in the neighboring province. So we've left our, the same kind of the states, but we're provinces. So we left the province, we're visiting friends. We visited family, different family. It's opening up in a lot of different ways, and it's actually really, really nice. So whatever political issue you want to make of it, I don't. I'm Canadian, so it makes it just nice and easy, and we're enjoying the freedoms of it, and it's been really nice.
Yeah. So I know for the last year and a half, virtual's become the new norm. Mm-hmm. This is what now it is. And I think we went to a huge transition in private and public sector of how things should be done in business, right? Going to a traditional office is kind of weird now. People are living in different kind of homes and doing different things. And things are kind of being held up by a lot of money, stuff being pushed off. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that you and I always talk about is conferences were a way to not only get together with those we spend a lot of time with on the phone and email, but just to get together with new people, do new things, learn new opportunities. No matter what level you are or aren't, these are new opportunities to meet with people and interact with them.
Yeah. And we say in this business all the time, it's a relationship business. And not that you can't do it online, but it's a lot more challenging. So yeah. We're glad that things are opening up as much as they are, so that conferences can start happening again. So we're looking forward to attending. It's funny because before COVID hit, I was getting tired, just one after another, and I was just thinking, man, it's a lot of travel, it's a lot of being away.
Yeah.
And I was getting a little bit run down, but I'm looking forward to it again. I'm looking forward to getting out and seeing people.
You're right. It's kind of like at a point you got tired of going to all this stuff, meeting new people. It's like every other time you didn't want to miss one, but now that you didn't have it, you do miss that interaction.
Which I didn't expect. I thought I was like ready just to be done with conferences, but I actually do miss them. And it makes a difference not being able to get together and chat and build those relationships.
Yeah. So it's interesting you say that. We invite Kimberly on here, not Kim, as she nicely puts in the thing. Kimberly is someone that we've known for many years. I could not tell you. Hey, fellow note investor. Are you looking to learn the basics of note investing so you can get started? However, you don't want to spend a few hundreds or thousands of dollars and hours online on some training program? Have you thought about attending a notes conference? However, you don't want to spend the money or the time away from your family. Well, we have a tremendous beginners video series of 20 different topics, with each video being less than 15 minutes. This means each video is less fluff and direct to the content. Visit www.jkpholdings.com/beginner-series to learn more. Again, www.jkpholdings.com/beginner-series. When I first met Kimberly, I think,
I bet it was at a conference.
I bet it was.
Yeah. It may have been a DME, you could know.
It might have been. It might have been.
So it's interesting that we all kind of get together with people and interact, because even though, and we made this comment privately, as much as we're competing in each other, it's still collaboration of information. It's still knowledge and things we want to learn. I'm not sharing with Nathan what my bid is on an asset, but afterwards we may just compare notes. What you see, what you feel. And for me, it was some things that opened my eyes. Like, I've never thought about that. I didn't realize that. So, you know, it's interesting. So Kimberly, give us a bit of background for those who may not know you, where you came from, what did you do before notes, when did you get into notes, those kind of things.
Okay. Well, I grew up in a real estate family. My father was a general contractor and he had his own real estate investments. I guess it's like if you grow up in a family of doctors, it's just the thing that you know once you become an adult. Yeah. And I bought my first rental property 3 months out of college. Wow. I lived in part and I had a tenant in the other part. So I started pretty early. I did have another career on the side. I was in banking and lending, and then I was in consulting for a while, but I kept my real estate stuff going. And then I guess it was 2010, we bought a small apartment building. So I was in the multifamily thing, figuring that out. And those prices just shot up right after we bought it. So probably, I think it was 2016, we flipped that into a small strip mall in Texas that's anchored by a Starbucks.
Nice.
So I'm very happy that people still love their coffee. That drive-through line is insane, just insane. Whatever. So that's one side of my business. But around 2012, when I was very involved in the apartment building, I started to notice that being a landlord sometimes is just not fun. Tenants are annoying. We had a tenant that somehow managed to know whenever we were leaving town. Whenever we were leaving town, she would call, and I guarantee you, she got my husband on the cell phone in the car while we're driving. And she had some kind of issue. So I went to this conference. It was not DME. It was something in Dallas, though. I can remember it, but whatever. And someone got up on stage and just started explaining what note investing was and how I could do probably less work that I was getting from my rentals. And like, I probably followed that person to their car going, tell me how to do it, tell me how to do it. And that's when I started. So I started originally just in firsts. But seconds always sounded interesting. And multiple someones in the note space said, well, you can't do both. You have to specialize.
Of course.
Well, don't tell me I can't do something because I'm going to figure out how to do it. So I do both. I think I probably like seconds better. I like the diversification. I like that you have a small amount of money at risk in each deal, because that allows me to be more creative in solutions. I like seeing a tough situation and going, ooh, what do we do here? And, when $100,000 is on the line, I need to put some of that aside. But when it's 2,500, 10 grand, I can play a little more. So currently I have a nice balanced portfolio. Most, I'd say it's probably about 50-50 first and seconds. I do have a couple of contract for deeds and have decided that they're really not my thing. I'm hoping to get out of those by the end of the year. So, but that's me. So what is that? Almost 10 years now, 9 years,
Yeah.
Focusing mostly on notes. So yeah, I think I'm hooked.
We'll talk about those CFDs later.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So DME is something newer to you guys, right? It's not new to the note space whatsoever. It's been around for years. Share a little bit about what is DME, who is it for, what they should expect. And I'm sure people are going to ask about COVID, but we'll get that in a minute.
Yeah.
What is DME? What does it stand for?
Well, it was started in 2014, and it started out as the Distressed Mortgage Expo, because that was pretty close to 2008, 2010, when everything went to hell. And note investors learned this is an opportunity. So they needed an event to go to. It was started out, it happened twice a year, once on the East Coast and once on the West Coast, just so that everybody could get there more easily. It always, to me, kind of felt like it was two different events then, because it was just two different audiences.
Yeah.
But that went on for a while. And let's see, Nick Tang started it. Then Mahir Allen and Mark Gold purchased it from them. They ran it for a few years. I'm not sure when they actually took it over, though, to be honest. But we bought it from them in 2019. They were both sort of moving in different directions in their worlds. So holding a note event wasn't really working for them. And we were really excited because it wasn't really still just a distress note space. I mean, more people are investing in performing notes. More people are working in that fuzzy area of reperformers to see what's going to go on with them. And we feel like the skills that you learn as a note investor, how to look at deals differently, how to find ways to solve problems that the average banker might not have thought of, made sense to make it more of a broader conference. So when we bought it, we changed it we kept DME as the nickname, but now it's the Diversified Mortgage Expo. So we've got first, we've got seconds, we've got institutional, we've got seller finance, we've got some commercial this year. So we're covering all the topics because, I mean, they're valuable skills. I think you could be, I don't know, the world's biggest landlord or the world's biggest fix and flippers. But if you don't know how to look at deals creatively, you're missing a big opportunity. So.
Well, and the cool thing with the Diversified is that's one of the really cool parts about notes is there are so many different avenues, and you can specialize in first or seconds or CFDs or whatever, or you can do a little bit of each, and you can kind of pick and choose how you want to approach this space because there's so many different ways to do this. So
Absolutely,
it makes it a lot of fun.
And I find when someone's interested in note investing, I also run the Note Investing Academy. It's hard to look someone in the face and go, well, yeah, you can do that. And you can do that. And you can do the other thing. And oh, sure, you can do that. And they're like, is this woman insane? What is she talking about? But at an event like this, you can look at the agenda and go to all the different meetings and go, oh my God, I have so much opportunity here.
Yeah.
I think your biggest problem when you see how much opportunity there is not having squirrel syndrome, because this sounds interesting and this sounds, you got to put your flag down in one spot and try it and then decide where you're going to go from there.
So would you say this is geared for advanced, intermediate, beginners? Where does it lie in the field of people wanting to get in?
Well, when it started, it was all for newer investors. Some of the more advanced investors would come and do a little networking, maybe find some new investors from the new people. But we have really tried to make it more balanced. Last year, we had a very robust breakout pattern, if you want to put it that way. So there were some more advanced topics and there were more beginner topics, and you could pick whichever track you wanted to go. We weren't going to tell you if you were a beginner or advanced person.
Yeah.
And you could be a beginner that suddenly goes, oh my God, I really want to know about bankruptcy. I'm worried about it. I'm interested in it, whatever. So you could pick where you wanted to go. And we started that way this year. This will lead us into the COVID thing. We started that way this year when we were meeting in person, and there just aren't as many speakers that are willing to travel at this point. So this year we're more streamlined. We don't have any breakouts, but we still do have all the, a bunch of different topics so that people can, make it their own. And we always have a Q&A. So if there's some advanced level question that you want to throw out there, you go right ahead. That'll be fun to see what the speaker does. Wait a minute, what? So that'll be good. And as you know, like I said, I've been doing this for 9 years now. I can listen to almost any note investor and get a nugget from it. They figured out how to do this a little bit easier, or that little bit easier. So, and we have a lot of advanced people that are coming to not speak. They want to come and hang out and, meet everybody. So it's going to be a very interesting group. I think that probably has a lot to do with the COVID thing. We all miss each other. But it's going to add a lot of flavor to the audience, and I think it's going to be great. So
yeah, that'll be interesting.
So a little bit more about where is it? What dates are it? How do you get more information about it?
All right. It is at the end of September. So it's September 30th and October 1st. We made sure this year to do it on Thursday, Friday, because last year we did it Friday, Saturday, and some people actually want to have their weekend. They picky people. So that we changed that. It's going to be in St. Petersburg, Florida, which I have not been to, but my partner, Liz Broomer-Smith, she grew up there. So it's supposed to be gorgeous, and it's at the Hilton there. And the Hilton is smack dab in the middle of all the great restaurants, and the beach is there, and there are even like well-known museums there. I've never really thought of a beach town having a bunch of museums, but
yeah.
And with it being on a Friday, we can all finally test that thing that the CPAs talk about, how if you stay the whole weekend and have a meeting Monday morning that you intended to speak business about, you get to charge off the weekend. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
That's cool.
And where can people go to get more information about the conference, buy tickets? And
okay. We have a very clever website. Since the event is called the Diversified Mortgage Expo, our website is diversifiedmortgageexpo.com.
Whoa.
I know. What it lacks in cleverness, it does in lots of letters. So, yeah, and on our site, that's of course where you can buy your tickets. But we also have the link to Hilton on the site, because you always have to get to the right spot to get your room discount and all of that. Just as a heads up, our group rate for the hotel ends on Sunday. So if you're thinking about going, you should get your room. So yeah, we tried to make that a little easier, because you know how when you call a big corporation, you're like, it's the event in St. Pete. What are you talking about? So we wanted to avoid that. So that's on the website as well. And the website has the agenda. It has our speakers. We're making a little adjustment in the agenda, but you get the idea of what all the topics are.
Sure.
And let's see, the speakers are there. And I don't want to brag, but last year's event went really, really, really well. So of course we have a section on the website of all the rave reviews that we got last year. Because last year, as you remember, was completely online.
Yeah.
So we even had to do networking online, which really ended up working really, really well. I'm not quite sure how we made it work so well, but one of the groups for the cocktail party, it was supposed to, cocktail, because we're not sending everybody alcohol all over the country, although we did think about that. It was supposed to be an hour where you just chit chat and Q&A or whatever. 2.5 hours later, we were like, okay, guys, I'm done. I have to be up to do this again the next day. Can we just leave?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, and the conversations were really real. I think that had something to do with the fact that we decided not to record the networking, because but like one of our friends, I won't throw him under the bus, but he was talking about this problem and this problem and this problem that he was having, and finally he was like, you know what, guys, I'm really depressed. I'm going. So they were really real conversations, which was nice.
That's awesome. And that's what you really get, when you get to these conferences. And I advise everyone, be sure to sit down at lunch around people you don't know.
Yeah.
And you're out to like, hey, Nathan, hey, Kimberly, don't sit next to us. We want to meet other people, right? We want to interact with people we don't know, because you're there to network, not just to hang out. So we encourage you guys, beginners and advanced, sit down next to somebody you don't know, shake hands, learn what they know. If they're a beginner, network with them, exchange cards, or do whatever you got to do networking. It's really interesting to see that kind of interaction. You meet some really interesting people. Don't be afraid to talk to anyone. Walk up to any circle. Just start introducing yourself. We had Cindy Coleman, who said hello to you, and Miss Erin Quinn, of course, hello as well on our feeds. So it's really good to see everyone getting back to this sense of normality a little bit. And hopefully everything goes well. Before we let you go, and so we're going to bring on Noteworthy in a second, but what are the precautions you guys are having for COVID? What do you expect with COVID for you guys?
Well, we are going to have everybody wearing masks, which I know some people don't appreciate, especially if they've been vaccinated. But, the way things are going, it seems smart. We're going to have a little more space between everybody when everybody sits down. And we're working on how we're going to do the food. We have two options. We could do like nice box lunches. Or you can do a buffet and you have servers serve you at the buffet. So like nobody's touching anything. So we're trying to see which is going to work best with
Okay.
the space. They've also, it's kind of funny when they try and show you on paper, like you're only allowed to start at the beginning at the buffet when it's this regulated. Like, no, sir, there's no cutting. There'll be no bacon for you. So we're going to see how it works best. Because I mean, lunch is one of the times you can network best, and you want people to not feel like they got to leave because I don't want to eat your food or whatever. So we want to make it just as welcoming as possible while still being safe. So
Awesome.
I really don't want to go home knowing that a whole bunch of people had a problem at the event, and that would not be fun.
I encourage you guys, if you have questions, reach out to Kimberly and the team over there. If you have any concerns, reach out, right? Just ask questions. Most of the time, we don't get the questions that people talk, right? Just come up and ask us. If you want to individually email people, just say, hey, listen, here's my question.
Yep.
Right. And reach out. So,
and one thing that I think is interesting about the note space in particular, and I think most people realize this if they've had other experience in real estate, is that we're all really friendly and welcoming and actually want to talk about what we're doing. There might be a little bragging, like, oh, I was so smart, I thought of this idea. But we love, to get note investors to stop talking about note investing is almost impossible. We love it. We love your questions. I don't really know of anybody in the space that actually goes to events that's unapproachable.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all, sure, love to talk to you.
The highest level to lowest level, it is
absolutely.
And you always feel uncomfortable walking into a circle, right? You're like, I don't know, just jump in.
Yep.
Jump in, start talking.
Yeah.
And if you feel like you have to say something, because some people feel weird just walking up, you'd be like, hey, you don't mind if I just sneak in here? Make a little joke about it, everybody chuckles, and now you're part of the group.
Yeah.
It's a really welcoming community. I think the term everybody always falls back to is cooperation. We're cooperating while we're competing, and it's just great. But don't forget, we have a discount for your listeners. You get 10% off your ticket. And I very cleverly named it after this Facebook group. So it's just East Coast, all one word, all lowercase.
Perfect.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Kimberly. Guys, definitely jump on there, get your tickets, make available, get your flights, right? We're dealing with COVID, but things are still happening. Conferences are back. Get in there, right?
Get in there.
I won't be there, unfortunately. I know Nathan will be down there. And Nathan will be doing some special stuff down there. He did work with Kimberly on some stuff that we're working on internally and present to the crew. So I appreciate it, Kimberly. We're going to let you go on that. I want you to enjoy your weekend. Hopefully you won't be hit with some storms. We're getting some storms this afternoon. So it's
good luck.
I appreciate it. Kimberly, have an
Take care,
awesome time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you in person soon.
Awesome. So we're going to be switching over to another conference as we move through here. We're going to have Ben on here. Ben's actually from Noteworthy, and he's going to be discussing what's happening going on in the world of conferences. And we just got off the call with Kimberly. I think this is going to be amazing to hear that conferences are back in full force and craziness has begun. Networking has started. Let's rock, Ben. Tell us about Noteworthy. Tell us about what people should expect. What level investors should be getting down there? Where is it? When is it? All the good stuff.
Well, first of all, thanks, Dave and Nathan, for having me on. It's good to see you guys. Yeah. It's been a little bit. So, Nathan, I don't think I've seen you since like California, man. So that's been like over 18 months. So, but yeah, man, we're super excited to be back live. Like, Aaron and I have been, just rather kind of foaming at the mouth to get back with people, So it's going to be happening September 24th and 25th right here in Orlando, Florida. And it's limited. I mean, we're only going to do like 30 investors for this. And it's a more of a mastermind type of an event. So it's definitely going to be geared towards people that are doing the business on some level. You don't have to be, doing 20 deals a month to come, but if you've done a couple of deals and you're like, gee, how do I get to the next level in this and doing it? This is an event you're going to want to check out. We do those big events like the Note Investor Summit and the National Convention, and those are great. We love doing them. But they're big, right? And it can be like drinking from a fire hose a lot of times because you're getting so many ideas. And then I know, because I've been a victim of this, you go home and you're like, I don't even know where to start, you know? So we wanted to have like a really just pragmatic, practical approach to this particular event where it is specifically geared towards, you know, something you can take action on. Cool. And awesome. What I mean by that is, you know, Kevin Shortell, who you guys know, is really, you know, he's partnered up with Noteworthy, and we're just going to put on 2 days of strict content that's immediately stuff you can do and get better as an investor. So we'll be teaching how to source notes. Like anybody that joins our Facebook group, that's like the biggest thing that we see. I don't know about you guys in your group, is like, how do I find the deals? Where are they? You know, who's got these things? So, and then once you find the deal, all right, how do you get better and faster at analyzing, right? Yes. Because there's a whole lot that goes into analyzing a note versus just a straight real estate deal, you know, fix and flip that I want to buy. And, you know, we're going to be talking acquisitions, increasing your yield on the deals that you're getting, how to make those offers appropriately, how to create partials, even a 2-note system. Kevin brought this to my attention about a month ago. And he's like, do you realize if you'd have just done like, you know, an 80-10 structure on the notes that you've been doing, like how much extra income you could have had, because you could have sold seconds, you could have sold a first and held a second, you know? And I was blown away by that because, one, it made me feel really stupid because I came from the mortgage industry. And I was like, why didn't I think to do that on my own notes? And sometimes it's just hearing stuff like that from people that are doing it and they think outside of the box. And it's like, okay, that's something I can implement right away. So we're going to be talking about that. And then also right now, we're going to see a tremendous opportunity, I think, from landlords. You know, landlords are in a pinch right now, big time. And if you've been watching the news and how the moratoriums and they're fighting against those and what's going to happen, we don't know. But I think we're going to see a tremendous opportunity to help a lot of landlords, you know, convert their rentals to notes. So we'll be talking about that. And then, of course, the unicorn is always finding the money to do the deals. So I've had the most success at small events because of the more personal one-on-one networking that you can do. And it's brought me partnerships to help fund my deals that I find, because I'm resourceful to find deals. And, you know, if I can partner up with somebody to bring that capital that isn't really good at finding deals or doesn't want to find deals, they just want to, you know, get an ROI on their money. Those are great opportunities. And, you know, I think that's, you know, a small event like this really caters towards actually building a business in this industry.
Awesome.
So
that's great.
So we had a comment from Erin. She's hoping that she can jump in there. Erin Quinn from over in Florida, Georgia. She's going to hopefully tag up with you, Ben, and get an attorney in there in space to help out, whatnot.
Absolutely.
So definitely, Erin, reach out to Ben, and I'm sure he'll hook you up with some stuff. You know, you're right. It's interesting. This is space, as we've been in forever, is changing. I think we just posted in our page about moratoriums actually coming possibly to an end. Supreme Court just ruled on it. And this may change, but I don't mean Nathan's talked about this. We don't think it's going to be the same as 2011. The inventory won't be that typical. It won't be as much, but it also won't be the same type. It may be the commercial. It may be that mixed use, maybe that restaurant, and just shifting our gears of how to analyze, how to maneuver, what do you do with it, and those kind of things. And that's awesome that you guys are really kind of honing in. Kevin Shortell is been around forever, one of the best out there to do these kind of things and learn from. And sitting down in a small group is going to be astronomically awesome. Now, I know you're only putting in 30 people or so. Are you going to vet out who wants to sign up, or how are you guys looking to do that?
Yeah, we'll have a conversation with anybody that wants to come. So we really want to understand where they are in the business. So if anybody wants to connect, you can find me on Facebook, just Ben Fredericks. If you want to put that up or connect with us through Noteworthy on our website, noteworthyusa.com. But yeah, we'd love to have a conversation with everybody and just make sure it's an ideal fit. Because if you're brand newbie, let's say you've never done a note deal before, yeah, you're going to get some great stuff from this. But you know, we want to have somebody that in that chair that is like, hey, I've already done some deals. I just want to get much, much better at it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They don't want to be talking over anyone's head or anything. There's got to be some level of understanding, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, the big events are good for the newbies because then they can come and sort of like taste what's going on in the industry and say, okay, that seems interesting to me. Let me see about going after that approach.
Yeah. Yeah, we just had Kimberly on from, DME, and she shared the fact that she can get all this knowledge. She just at the end of September, and you can switch gears if you have that experience, that knowledge that, maybe you were a beginner. That level was great for you and for advanced, and then take it to the next level and sit down with a small group of investors who have the same skill sets you have and just supersize that knowledge in a couple day kind of mind blowing kind of experience, and then learn as well at the same time.
Yeah. I'm in a couple of mastermind groups myself outside of the note space, but I'll give you an example. Like I'm an investor fuel, and there's a limit to be able to get into that group, right? You have to be doing a certain amount of deals per year to get into the group.
Mm-hmm.
But there are guys that are just like straight up titans. And when you go to events like that, and yeah, you can feel like, oh my God, I'm playing so small, and it just takes your confidence up a level because you're like, if they can do it, why couldn't I? And I think that's one of the more powerful things about going to the smaller group events is because you see some of the bigger players and it pushes you to do more.
Motivates you.
Like,
I got to do it. I got to.
Yeah. And you mentioned Kevin, again, a guy who's been around forever. He does a ton of research. He's a very knowledgeable guy. The thing that you'll know though, is when you start talking to him or anybody else is you go, oh, they're not much different than me.
Yes.
And they've got all this knowledge and experience and everything else. I could do that. I mean, he's a regular guy. He puts on his pants one leg at a time, just like everybody else. And you figure out that if they can do it, I can too. There's really no difference between that guy and me.
Absolutely. And that's the big thing is, guys, I know we get intimidated. Some people get intimidated. Even if your experience getting around other people may be intimidating, but as we just talked to Kimberly, there's a level of understand that we're going to work together. Even though we're competing, we're still in the same spectrum of each other. And I may have a nugget that you may not know, and you may have a nugget that I don't know. And that knowledge collected is awesome. And you got to take advantage of that opportunity to get around people who your level or higher, just to get that little bit of knowledge and be willing to share the knowledge, right? We have to be willing to share this space. There's so many different angles of a deal. One deal can go that talking to more people gets you around the opportunity to learn more angles, how to handle a weird scenario, see if anyone else has been through it, and just get experience from someone else, right? Just because you've done 50 deals doesn't mean the next 50 will be anything like the first 50.
Amen to that. Yeah. And I think you hit on something really great there, Dave. It's like, come to these kinds of things with an abundance mindset. Like, all right, how can I give more than, what I'm asking for here? And a lot of people just have entirely different skill sets. You mentioned like Kevin, he's like amazing at analysis, right? He knows the data in the industry like nobody else that I've met.
Yeah.
But if you sat down with Kevin and said, hey, Kevin, can you craft a social media ad campaign for me to help find more notes? He'd probably look at you like, and that's not putting Kevin down. It's just not what he does. Right. So he's just like, no, that's not my thing. So that's the beauty of these. You're bringing people from all different walks that have something to give. And I think that puts you in the best position to receive.
Yeah. And it's important to go into that, not belittling yourself, not being like, well, I got nothing. I've only done a couple of deals. I don't know anything. That's not true. Even in those couple of deals, you've learned stuff.
Yeah.
Very possibly, I don't know, the things that you've picked up and
you're absolutely right.
Areas or whatever. And you've got something to contribute for sure.
No doubt.
And it may not even be notes related. You may have a skill set that you did fix and flips for years. And I walk in with a deal and I'm like, I don't know how to handle a situation. And because your knowledge of fix and flips may supersize my deal, and in turn, I'm handling that off too. It's not only notes related, that's the skill sets. Deals related are great, but maybe your CPA in the background and say, listen, I got an angle with this that you maybe should look at.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great point. Like Kevin, and some of the people that I know in the industry, are very good at like finding notes to buy and how do we structure those and all that. and I go to these events, I'm as much a student as anybody else, and I'm part of putting it on, right? Like that's the biggest reason I got involved in Noteworthy. It was like, okay, how can I go and like be the most involved and like talk to the most people, you know, that are going to be there? Because my skill set is really note creation. It isn't going out and finding the notes. So I still have a tremendous amount to learn, you know, and I still consider myself a rookie for all, you know, for all.
I think we all do. We all feel that way because you always like, wait, how did I not know that before? I mean, we had Tom Henderson on just a couple weeks ago. You sit next to that guy and you're like, oh, I know nothing compared to Tom Henderson, right? So it's those kind of feels that you just get around people, but there's aspects that he doesn't know. Even though he's been in the space for 30, 40 years now, there's always aspects. And like you said before, just because you did one deal, you may have learned something that no one else knows because that one deal has a scenario that hasn't been touched before. So, you know, remind everyone where they can go to find out more information, where it's at, and what dates they'll be attending.
Yeah, so September 24th and 25th in Orlando. So you can bring the family, they can go to Disney while you come and learn how to pay for Disney and all that stuff. And then, you know, you can go to noteworthyusa.com/events. You'll see it right there. It's called the Inner Circle. So we'll be excited to have everybody. And then if you need to connect with me personally, you can find me Ben Fredericks or at Benjamin Fredericks on Instagram if you like, and be glad to answer any questions.
Awesome.
It's exciting. It's good that things are getting back on, and that's
Nathan, we got to get you out of Canada, man.
I know.
Ben, how are you guys handling COVID? Because I know some of the questions that have come up. What are you guys doing about COVID? How are you handling it?
Yeah, so we've got a pretty big space, so we'll be able to socially distance and all that kind of good stuff. So, you know, but come as you feel comfortable, you know. So if you're vaccinated, come. If you want to wear a mask, come. You know, Florida is. It's in its own little world down here, it seems like. So, you know, whatever, you know, you subscribe to, that's who you can be when you come, and that's just fine with us.
Yeah. So Erin mentioned a comment that she reached out to you on LinkedIn. I know we have a million social medias out there. She'll reach out to you there too. So guys, definitely tune in to Ben. We're in that conference zone. There's a million of them going on. I think if you can attend every single one of them, I promise you, you won't regret it. Getting around different specs, there's always a positive thing for all these conferences. I know, you know, DMEs are just a few days later, maybe you can hit both, right? You can fly down there, you can do the Noteworthy thing, then go down to it, do the DME thing, and come home a week later with like such motivation, knowledge, skill set, and network to supersize your situation when all this COVID thing ends and the government stops doing what it does. And when moratoriums end and we're rocking and rolling, you're ready to do your thing. So,
yeah, I can tell you guys, like I've been to some events recently, and the atmosphere is so awesome because people are just so excited to be back amongst people. And, you know, the idea of like, all right, let's get down to business and really do some stuff here. Yeah. It's very motivating, and it's a complete, you know, other side of the coin of the life we've all been living for the last 18 months. So get out and, you know, live and figure out like how you can build your business and take it to the next level, because there's going to be a tremendous opportunity. We don't know what's going to happen, but, you know, times like these always create opportunities because a lot of people get scared and do nothing. And it's the people that take massive action that can take their life to the next level.
Yeah.
And that's just it. We're gearing up for something. We don't know exactly what's going to happen here in the next year, 2 years, 6 months.
Just be ready.
Yep.
Just be ready and be ready to rock and roll, network, meet everyone you can meet. Everyone has a skill set and knowledge and experience that you don't have probably. So, guys, I want you guys, Ben, I appreciate you coming on, man. I know Alex says some self-directed IRA mentioned a new view trust that he'll be there as well. Guys, jump in, take a look at some stuff, get involved. You know, there's a million Facebook groups out there. Get involved in all of them, interact with them, learn from everybody. So, all right, Mr.
Appreciate you guys having me on.
Enjoy. You have a good weekend.
Pleasure.
And have an awesome time. Thank you much, guys.
All right, thanks.
Good to see you again, Ben.
We are done. Okay. Well, that was...
Shut off the recording.
Yeah. Good. Thank you for reminding me.